Everybody, what's going on? This is Chris Flowers. Here's the deal. All right, today's episode is gonna be really cool. Okay, I got Jessica Avignone coming on. Okay, that's how you pronounce her name, and she's part owner of JTA Interiors. We're gonna have a great interview. Go into, she's a successful business owner, so she's gonna give you a lot of tips and tools on how to, how what things that she came into. So we're gonna get this show started. And as we always start out, we got to start out with our sponsor, Litchfield Auto. Phil and his team over, at Litchfield Auto. At least there's one good, honest mechanic out there. Okay. That's their slogan, and they are all that. And like I said, I've been with them for well over 10 years, probably going on 15. And every problem I've ever had with a car, they've got the thing running. Doesn't matter what kind of car it is. It could be a Nissan to a Mercedes, makes no difference. Go see Phil and his team over at Goodyear if you're local here in Arizona. And yeah, like I said, they're going to be honest with you. If something needs to get fixed, they're going to tell you it needs to get fixed. And if it doesn't need to get fixed, they're going to tell you it doesn't need to be fixed. But they will do it right, and they will do it the first time correctly. So thanks to our sponsors, Phil and his team over at Litchfield Auto. Okay, I'm going to introduce Jessica Avignon of JTA Interior. She's going to turn her camera and her mic on and everything now. Bingo.
Made it.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's Friday. I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Just glad to have you on. Thanks for agreeing to come on to the show. I appreciated that a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is my first podcast experience, so be gentle, right?
Yeah, I'm going to throw a bunch of real gotcha questions out there. So I'm like a political reporter.
Oh man, hot seat. I'm in the hot seat.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so Jessica, you and I, what do we meet at Cree now? I know we met at a networking event, correct?
We met at I think the year-end celebration for BNI. You were a
Oh, was it
member of the
BNI?
BNI, yep, Sharks, and then
Oh,
you
that's
came
right.
to visit our chapter
That's
once or
right.
twice, and then we've just always stayed in contact ever since. So
That's right. Because
you're the magical connector.
your energy is infectious, and I got to be around it.
Oh,
And
well,
everybody I've ever introduced you, I'm like, wait till you just meet Jessica. She's amazing.
oh, well, and samesies. You were unforgettable from that networking meeting. You were so excited about being a member of the Sharks. You came to you did a great job at our chapter. So yeah, I mean, we're in the same field here for sure.
Well, that's why we're together.
That's why we're here.
Okay, you got to tell all the listeners about JT Interiors, like how you got started, what you guys do, things like that, where you guys are located. Get into all that. You got to expound on your baby here. Tell us all about it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So started JTA Interiors in 2012, but actually my design experience started in '02. Went to ASU, got my design degree, and stayed out here. I'm from the Northeast, but the weather's a lot better out here, so decided to stay.
Mhm.
And worked at a firm doing commercial interiors for about 5 years, and then the crash, right? So
Mm.
my now partner and I were thrown out into, the freelance field when no one was hiring designers. So we sort of had to scrap our way, one or two clients at a time, and then officially started our own businesses and focused mainly on commercial interiors, but have ventured into high-end residential and multifamily projects. So we call ourselves a commercial design business. We don't just do interiors. We do architectural space planning. We can do a full set of construction documents for commercial or residential projects to submit to the city. And then we do construction administration so we can stay involved during the build of the project as well.
Wow, so you guys faced a whole bunch of challenges like right off the bat.
We kind of do. I mean, it opens up us for a lot of opportunities, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of components and a lot of parts and pieces to what we do. So it makes for a very exciting week. No day is ever like the last. I'll tell you
Mhm.
that.
The Navy SEALs have a saying: the only easy day was yesterday.
The
So
only easy day was yesterday. That's right. Well said.
okay, so but I mean, tell me, I mean, like I said, right off the bat, I mean, you guys, the crash happened, you guys were put out, and things like that. So that was a massive challenge in and of itself to where it motivated you to start your own company, correct? So tell us tell us a little more about that, how you faced that adversity and what you did to kind of overcome that.
Yeah, I mean, first off, we didn't have much of a choice because nobody else was hiring, right? So
Necessity breeds ingenuity, right?
100%. I was
Mhm.
trying to find that euphemism. I'm glad you remembered it. But yes, that's exactly it. I mean, we didn't have much of a choice. So it was a part-time gig really for the two of us. And so my business partner, April, handles all of our architectural side of things. So she's very analytical, very technical. She's NCIDQ certified. So she's obviously the brains of the operation. And I do more new business development and relationship building creative interiors, right? So we didn't have experience in doing any of that. We worked for a firm. So we're thrown out thinking we know what we're doing, right? And realize very quickly that we don't. And so it was just a lot of like stumble, pick yourself up, knock on a lot of doors and take whatever comes your way, hone your skills, and just get better and better and better at what you're doing by
Wow.
trial and error, really.
Wow. See, that's like I said, that's what a lot of people really don't understand. Even you think, okay, yeah, I've worked for this firm for so many years, I've worked for this bank for so many this that. When you do it on your own, the training wheel, I mean, the wheels are off. I mean, it's just you're swimming in a whole different pond.
A
And
whole different pond. And I was kind of in a new business development role at the firm, but I was under the firm's umbrella and had all
Mhm.
of the credibility of this firm, and they were bringing in all the business to me. I just had to close the deal. That is not anything like what real new business development is. As a newbie out there knocking on doors of very successful people and expecting them to listen. And so you learn very quickly that you don't go after the big whales. You kind of start small and you build your reputation and you build your credibility. And then naturally and organically, your projects get bigger and bigger and more sophisticated as your portfolio gets bigger and more sophisticated.
Wow, that's awesome. Like I said, these are like I said. See, here's the deal. This is exactly what you get with this show because this is proof positive that through the adversity, if you got to go get it, if you got the grind in you, you can do it. You're going to face those challenges, God willing. You're going to persevere. You're going to get through it. And then, like, when you guys were, getting started out, like, what was your plan? I mean, did you kind of, you guys got together, you got brainstormed it, but how did you plan this whole thing out? Like, how did you like do your business plan and things like that?
Well, and I'm not sure this is fabulous advertising on my part, but
Mhm.
there was no business plan. It was I would get a phone call from, a past client. They have a new project, and I'd bring April in because I don't do construction documents. She's brilliant at it. We're so good as a team that we just started partnering up every time we got an opportunity, and our opportunities got more and more, abundant as time went on, and we had more and more successful projects to show. But what we realized is that, and this kind of goes back to one of your past episodes where you talk about delegating. As you're growing, you can't keep doing all of the things yourself, right? You can't be selling all of the projects. You can't be doing all of the design work. You can't be doing all of the project management. You have to start bringing in people that are smarter than you, better than you, faster than you, right? So I guess the only thing that I did right in the beginning was I brought her in because I knew I needed her, right? Bring
Mhm.
in someone who's smarter than you. Perfect. I know one. Grab one. And so, because we worked together at the firm together, so I knew what she was capable of. So I brought her on board, and then we got busier and busier and busier, the two of us. And then we realized, oh, we need more help, right? Like we need to bring in someone who's even better than us, and then hopefully another person who's better than us, right? And so relinquishing some of that control and realizing that you need to delegate design work, maybe some administrative work and project management work, and then you can oversee the business, be a little bit more strategic, build strategic partnerships to grow because you can't be stuck behind a computer all the time, right? And so that's
Preach,
kind of the next step in our growth pattern.
preach. See,
Yeah,
now Jessica's not only a guest on the show, she's also a subscriber to the channel. She's a subscriber to the YouTube channel, subscriber to the podcast. There's good information out there. She listened to it. She gets it.
I
So
get the nugget. That's right.
no, so yeah, again, let's go back to the business plan thing. Not the recommended model to follow, but at the same time, like I said, you gotta, improvise, adapt, overcome, as we say in the military, improvise,
Right.
adapt, overcome. You overcame. Okay, you improvised, you adapted, and you definitely overcame. Like I said, super proud of you guys. You guys are awesome. Why don't you tell us a little more? I mean, let's be real for some female business owners out there, things like that. What challenges did you guys face as female business owners? especially in a construction type world and things like that, where I say, here's the deal, we keep it real. So tell people out there the real struggles, like straight up, what's up?
That's a loaded question and a very good one. And I know that a lot of other female designers, female architects out there, it is a challenge, to walk into a construction site and deal with a amazingly male dominated field of guys that have been in charge. And designers do different things today than they did 30, 40 years ago. There's a lot more architectural and construction knowledge that we have to have to survive in this industry now. And that wasn't the case 30, 40 years ago. So somebody who worked with a designer years ago may not understand what our capabilities are. So I think the biggest challenge is really educating them on what interior designers know, what we're capable of, and how we can make their life easier. And once you kind of get over that hump a little bit and the egos kind of die down and you can kind of manage to that, you realize, listen, I add value. I'm here to make your life easier. I'm here to be the buffer between you and the client. Let's work together, right? And the same thing with the client. I'm here to be a buffer between you and the general contractor. I'm like the stoplight, so to speak, right? I'm the filter. So I think that's the biggest challenge, is just educating people on really what interior designers do, specifically commercial, right? I mean, it's very architecturally and very construction driven, and you need to understand, you need to be able to be willing to walk construction sites. You need to be able to read plans. You need to be able to produce plans. You need to understand city codes. There's a lot of stuff other than just picking finishes that goes into what we do. And I think being a female in this industry, it's tough. It's just education. It's really just educating people on what we do and how we can help them.
And then also,
Did
I would
I
imagine,
effectively
yeah,
answer
no,
that?
yeah, 100%. I mean, you know how to answer that question better than I do. I'm not a female
Yep.
walking on a construction site, so what
Yep.
the hell do I know about it?
That's right. Yep.
So I've just usually been the other guy swinging the hammer on the other end. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? But I mean, but I mean, and everything, I love everything you said, but really based down when that general contractor says, "Hey, sugar, check this out," da 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 da. I mean, tell me you've never heard that. Like, again, we're keeping it real. Here's the deal.
Oh yeah. No, it's a real
So they
thing.
see you
And
come
then
walking
again,
in, supermodel here, blah blah blah
mhm,
blah. You know, it's like, hey, I'm not here to bring you coffee, pal.
right.
And I know the shit you don't know. Get
Correct.
used to it.
That's right.
So
Well, and the cool thing is that we produce all of our own drawings, so nobody knows our drawings like we know our drawings. And so if I were to walk on a job site and a general contractor asks me to get him coffee and calls me sugar and then questions me on the drawings, all I have to do is flip to page 4, detail 3, and be like, by the way, let me clarify. And then I think usually in a less diplomatic way, maybe, he understands who he's dealing with. And then again,
love it.
we don't want to step on anybody's toes because we got to be in bed with these guys for like 6 months, right? I don't want to piss anybody off, but I do need them to
But
understand
but
what is up, right? And so a few of those moments, right, shakes it up a little bit. I think it re-educates and realigns the expectations. And then ultimately the goal is for them to see us as an advocate on the job site, because there's no way that you can look at a city set of drawings this big and know every detail better than the people who drew them. So use this as a resource. But yes, there is some right siding of the ship that happens from time to time.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Like I said,
Yeah.
these are the things that people need to hear. I mean, this is real world stuff. And like we
Yeah.
said, here's the deal. Shit gets
Yeah.
real, right? So,
It does. It
so
does
like,
get real.
we definitely want to keep real. So, who are your customers? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, tell us about who your customer base is.
Yeah. So because we focus on 3 main markets. So we do commercial. So that would be like retail, think of a yoga studio, a coffee shop, a restaurant. We do medical office, we do corporate office. But we also do high-end residential, right? So we can do a custom home. We can do a massive remodel on an existing home. And so we can work with investors that are doing spec homes. We can work with owners that are building their dream home. And then we also do multifamily, and multifamily I'm sure most people know what multifamily is, but think of apartment buildings, right? We typically in multifamily will get hired not only to pick the finishes in the units and the exterior finishes, but all the fun stuff, like the amenities, think the gym, the clubhouse, all of that. So with multifamily, we're typically dealing with, many times investor groups, out of state investor groups. So we can work with first timers, freshmen in the construction business, first project, first time restaurant owners, all the way up to people that have, portfolios all over the country. And I think the reason we can serve those markets effectively is because our our whole business platform and our business model is based on communication and coordination. And I think regardless of where you're at in experience for construction, everybody benefits from that.
Wow, that's awesome. I know you touched on it a little bit, what really sets you guys apart, from other interior designers and architects out there, things like that. But
Mhm.
maybe, toot your own horn, ring your bell, tell us why everybody wants to hire JTA.
Oh, shameless self promotion. Okay. Well, I mean, there's certainly no shortage of design talent in Phoenix and Scottsdale. I mean, you throw a rock and you're going to hit 50 designers on the way, right? And all of them good in their own niche market. But because my partner April and I have done hundreds of projects, all the way from, a commercial office all the way up to a full restaurant rebuild or new build and custom homes and everything in between. And what we noticed over time is that most designers do one thing really well, right? So they either focus on furniture and window treatments, right? Or they'll do architectural finishes, um, or they'll do architecture. But there's not a lot of coordination with firms. There aren't many firms that do everything. And the reason that's important is coordination on the job. There are so many layers in a construction project, and there's so many layers and details in a set of drawings that you don't want to hire an interior designer and then hire an architect and have two separate sets of plans. And then the general contractor is trying to figure out where he goes for what detail. What you want are less consultants on the job and one fully coordinated set of drawings and one team that you work with from the very first space plan until you get your certificate of occupancy. That is what makes a highly successful project. And that's something that our team can do.
Wow. That was awesome. I realize that definitely, I now, as you can see, when I said that Jessica's, energy is infectious, are you feeling it? Are you getting it? Do you know why? Now, if you never knew before, you know now.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate that.
All right. So tell us about the vision. What's the vision for JTA? Where are you guys going? What's happening? It's a challenge. It's,
Well,
challenging market out there. I mean, a lot of things are going well, but then office space is not. So tell us about JTA. What's the vision? Where are you guys going? How are you going to improvise, adapt, and overcome going forward?
Well, we again, chasing three markets keeps us pretty, flexible. When one is slow, we can always jump to the other one, and it's not like we're jumping into a pond in the deep end. We have layers and layers of experience and lots of projects in all three markets so that we can pivot as needed. But one thing we've learned is we cannot stay a team of two. We've got to grow, and I know it's kind of a scary thing to do, especially in a market that's kind of up, kind of down. But what I know is that with 23 years of experience in design, all here in Phoenix, I know that we need to grow now and not when we're too tapped out. The last thing you want to do is try to train employees when your pipeline is full, 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 right? So we just hired our design assistant. Her name is Daria. We're so excited. I want to hire another employee before in the next 6 months or so. And we're rebranding. So we're not Precision Interiors and JTA Interiors. We're JTA Precision Interiors, a creative collaboration. We're going to be handling projects from start to finish, doing full service interior design, 3D branding, and architecture.
That's another thing for the listeners looking to start a business or who are in a business. Niche markets are great. Okay. But diversification of revenue streams is vital, especially in a changing market where if you rely on one customer, we can talk about customer concentrations and think that's a whole different other show. I can go on a whole different rant about that. So, but see, Jessica has diversified revenue streams. when this office space is down, she's going to go pivot over here. When office space comes back, she can pivot back. Diversified revenue streams, hugely important. That's what you tell, like I said, see, she's got
I got something right. Okay,
she
good.
says she says she's not the brains of the operation, but she's no dummy by any stretch of the imagination. She knows what's up. That's
Thank
amazing.
you. That's awesome.
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you want to cover? Like you talk about you want to hire some more people. Tell us, tell us more about what's going on. I mean, if you want, give us all your intel that we haven't covered.
Well, we kind of talked a little bit about kind of, being able to manage a project from beginning to end. I think it's important, and a lot of design firms use 3D, but we use a 3D program, and April and I have both been using it for about 18 years. And it's called ArchiCAD. And what we do, and there's several 3D programs. Some architects use it, some just use regular CAD. You can get the job done either way. But where this comes into play and where we really see value, I think, especially with newer clients that have not entered into a major remodel or a major construction build project before, is to be able to see your job in 3D and see your space in 3D and walk through it and experience it and really understand what you're getting before, like to your point, you start swinging hammers and spending real money, right? You can save yourself a ton of money on the front end in the computer, right? Everything's free in the computer, right? When you start making changes out in the field, that's where you start having
Change orders
construction
cost money.
delays, unforeseen costs. So to be able to communicate to your client, to your general contractor, and to the city what the space looks and feels like is hugely important. And that's something that we incorporate into all of our projects, residential, commercial, multifamily, every single one.
Wow, that's awesome. They said, yeah, change orders cost a lot of money. So
they're a lot. And a good designer will save you their design fee and then some with one construction mistake. To
that's
avoid
true.
one construction mistake.
Especially with supply chain the way it is, something gets
Oh
screwed up. Man,
I'll tell you. That's right.
All right, Jessica, tell everybody how to get a hold of you. Tell everybody, give your website, phone number, social, whatever. Give it
Yep,
to us.
absolutely. Yep. Um, always call me. You can call me direct 480-278-9119. My email, Jessica at JTACustomInteriors with an S.com. My website, JTACustomInteriors.com. We've got a lot of fun pictures on there, kind of shows a little bit about our personality and the dynamic between April and I, what we like to do. We love to have fun on projects. And then Instagram is at JTA Interiors. So.
All right, that's awesome. Like I said, once again, Jessica Avignone, JTA Interiors, the real deal. Like I said, giving you the information that you need to get motivated and get started. I appreciate your time very, very much. I'll let you get back to it because I know, like I said, you're a working professional. You got jobs
That's
to
right.
do, but thanks for carving out some time for us and for all my listeners here at Here's the Deal. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity, Chris. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, it's always, like I said, it's always good to have you on, and hopefully we'll have you on again real soon. And
I'd love that.
thanks
Absolutely.
for being a friend of the show. I certainly appreciate it.
You bet. All right. Talk soon.
All right, have a great day. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Okay, everybody. In closing, as usual, like I said, just want to give all thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for saving my soul. Thank you to my family. Thank you to supporting me. Thank you to the friends of the show, and most of all, thanks to you. Thanks to our sponsors, but thanks to the listeners and subscribers. If you got anything off the show, like, dislike, any kind of comments, feel free to give them to us. We're always looking to improve and things like that. But for the people out there, you're going to get the real deal. You're going to get here's the deal: is keeping it real. You're going to get real world information from real world people that actually know what they're doing. So thanks to all the listeners, thanks to all the subscribers, and stay tuned because we got more interviews coming up with more professionals just like Jessica. All right, so thanks a lot. Appreciate it.